Good morning and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I both invite and encourage you to walk with me on the road to wisdom. Come on, y'all. Let's get to walking. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Road to Wisdom. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I definitely welcome you to my show. Today is May the 20th, 2024, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, today's topic, I'm very excited about this because I was thinking about it all day yesterday. I went to church at my church. I went to my father's church for friends and family, and I was listening to sermons going to and from church. And I listened to something that really got me thinking about something. In fact, this weekend I've been immersed in listening to different sermons, having different conversations, and I think that I have a lot of good things that's coming up in the future. So just continue to pray for me and hope that God keeps enlightening and keep inspiring me to do these different videos and make things interesting for you. Today's topic is: Are you a good friend? Are you a good friend? Now, like I always like to do, I like to get definitions to make sure we all clear. And the definition of a friend by the dictionary, Webster's dictionary, is a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations. Say it one more time. A person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family reactions, or relations. So I'm not talking about someone, a family member, or someone that you're in a romantic relationship with. I'm talking about someone that you met. I'm not sure when you met. Could have been years ago, um, and that you and this person, you all are friends. Y'all have a bond. You have a brotherhood, a sisterhood, and it is something that should be cherished because I don't think people as a whole have a lot of true blue friends. You have a lot of acquaintances, a lot of people that we're friendly with, a lot of people that we get along with, we interact with, but a true blue friend to me is someone you can call anytime, it don't matter, day or night, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 12 in the morning, 12 at noon, it don't matter, whatever the case may be. That person is going to pick up the phone or tell you, look, I'm going to call you right back. Or when your back is up against the wall, and you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, that person's right there beside you, lifting the weight, holding the weight, so it's not on your shoulders. A friend is someone that that when you're crying and when you're upset, they're just sitting there listening, and they're there on the other end of the phone. They're there beside you. They're in the battle with you. They're in your valleys, and as well as they're in your peaks, they're in your valleys. When something good happens to you, man, they're one of the first people that you call, man, to share the good news. When something bad, they're there to console you, they're there to help you. When you're doing something stupid, your friend, your true blue friend should be telling you, hey, look, you don't need to do that because of this. Or when you need encouragement, that true blue friend is telling you, hey, look, you need to do this, man. You can do this. They're giving you that confidence when you feel like you have that lack of confidence. Your friend is giving you that confidence. When you're doing something crazy, doing something wild, something that may not be totally um, the correct thing to do, or the right thing to do, or something that you may need to be pulled back on. May want to rethink, may want to change direction, may want to just sit still for a while and kind of survey the landscape. That friend should be able to tell you, hey, look, you might want to do this. That friend can give you that bit of advice and not be a yes man, but be a person that has your best interest at heart. If you are lucky enough to have a person like that in your life, you need to hold on to that person with all your might. Don't let them go. Don't let them go. I have some friends. I have four friends in my circle, not including my wife by marriage or anything, or my family, because they're my friends. My wife is my best friend. Well, God is first. Spiritually, God is number one. Then physically on earth, my wife is number two. Everybody else falls in a particular pecking order. But people, like the definition says, that are not I'm not in a sexual relationship with, I'm not related to. I have four of those. One of those, me and this guy, we've been through it for the past 20 plus years. We've been through it. Two I work with, and one is in a different county that I live in. He and I don't talk a lot, but I know I can pick up the phone and call him, and vice versa. We don't always see eye to eye because there's an age difference. I think about 15, somewhere between 15 and 18 years age difference. So sometimes we don't see things. I don't know whether it's a generational gap. I'm not sure. Sometimes we don't see things, but I know he's my friend, and he knows that I'm his friend. And anything I can do to help this individual, I will do it, and vice versa. And a lot of times I tell him, things, look, that ain't gonna work because of ABC 1, 2, 3. A lot of times he tell me things, and sometimes he tells me some things. I'd be like, I ain't feeling that, but I know it's coming from a place, a good place. He would never tell me something intentionally to hurt me, and me him. So, but I have those four friends. Today I want to talk to you about a particular Bible verse in friendship. And this friendship is a spiritual friendship. It's not like any other friendship that you're going to experience here on earth. And this is a friendship that all of us, especially Christians, should develop with Jesus. If you haven't, we need to get there. We need to be all working for that. But I'm going to read from you from the book of Exodus, the 32nd chapter, the 7th through the 14th verse. The book of Exodus, the 32nd chapter, the 7th to the 14th verse. And then I'm going to read from you after that, the book of Exodus, the 33rd chapter and the 11th verse. These two verses we're going to focus on today's topic. And today's topic is, are you a good friend? And just follow me and give me a little bit of time. I'm going to tie it all together. But let's go ahead and get into it. Exodus 32nd chapter, 7 to the 14th verse. And it reads as follows. Bum, 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 bum. Then the Lord said to Moses, go down because your people, whom you brought up out of Egypt, have become corrupt. They have been quick to turn away from what I've commanded them, and I have made themselves an idol cast, and they have made themselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. They have bowed down to it and sacrificed to it, and have said, these are your gods, Israel, who brought you out of Egypt. I have seen these people, the Lord said to Moses, and they are stiff necked people. And stiff necked means stubborn. They are stubborn people. Don't listen. That's what stiff neck means. Now leave me alone. So this is Lord talking to Moses. Now leave me alone so that my anger may burn against them and that I may destroy them. Then I will make you a great nation. The Lord was so pissed off at his people, the Israelites, for making these false gods, these golden calves, and worshiping them after all the stuff he did. He took them out of bondage. He put all the different 10 plagues on Pharaoh to make Pharaoh see that he is the one and true God. He split the Red Sea. He took them out of danger. He provided manna for them every morning. Manna rained down from the sky. He fed them in the wilderness. And they did all this stuff, still not fully grasping the power, the awesome power of God and what God can do. And then they still choose to disrespect him by building a pagan God, a golden calf, and worship him after all the miracles they saw God did. That's enough to make anybody angry. And God had enough at this time, had enough at this time. But now I'm going to show you about friendship. So Moses' response to this is, but Moses sought the favor of the Lord his God. And Moses said, Lord, why should your anger burn against your people, whom you brought out of Egypt with great power and a mighty hand? What the Egyptians, Moses was trying to play the God. He was trying to play the God's empathy and try to and use some of his words against him. But they had this friendship. God had this friendship with Moses like no other. And this is going to explain to you now. I'm going to read you some more into it. Let's go ahead and continue. Why should the Egyptians say, it was with evil intent that you brought them out, to kill them in the mountains and to wipe them off the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce anger, relent, and do not disaster your own people. So Moses was trying to appeal to God. He's like, look, why you want to kill these people? They're your people. And the only thing the Egyptians are going to say is that, look, you did all that. You did all this stuff. You caused all these plagues. And the only thing you did was take them out of bondage. At least here in Egypt, they were alive. But now you got mad at them. You get mad at them, God. And now what you want to do is wipe them off. Moses did not want the Egyptians to say that. So he was trying to appeal to God. He was trying to beg for his people, for the Israelites' life, because at this time, God was done with them. He was done and he was ready to snap the finger and consume them all. But Moses continues on by saying, remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, to whom you swore by your own self, I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give your descendants all this land I promised them, and it will be their inheritance forever. So Moses was using God's own promises against him. Remember what you said, Lord? Remember, God likes when we use words that he used to us back at him. Because he knows we're paying attention. He knows we're listening. When the very things that he tells us, we tell him back. God likes that. So Moses was getting through to God. Now, God does not change. God is the constant. He's like the North Star. He's like the true North. But God can be persuaded if a righteous person or a righteous idea or a righteous suggestion is presented to him. If you present God, it's like I always go back. If you have the right tone, you have the right delivery, those can be things that can help sway things, especially if it's respectful. Tone, delivery, and approach. At this time, Moses was having the right tone. He had the right tone with God. He had the right delivery with God. He had the right approach, and he was God's friend. So I know y'all saying, where you get this from? Where you get that Moses was God's friend? Just keep following with me. So, verse 14. Then the Lord relented and did not bring on his people the disaster he had threatened. So Moses was able to convince God to please give them another chance. Don't destroy them. And by Moses' words, God said, okay, I changed my mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something differently. He told Moses what he's going to do. Again, my favorite 3 words: approach, tone, and delivery. Moses had the right approach, tone, and delivery. And plus, Moses and God were friends. They were friends. Now, you said, where'd you get that from? Now, I'm going to show you where I get this from. We're going to go to chapter 30, the 33rd chapter and 11th verse. 33rd chapter and 11th verse. I'm going to show you in the Bible where it says God and Moses were friends. And here we have it right here. Exodus 33rd chapter, 11th verse. The Lord would speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. Then Moses would return to the camp, but his young aide Joshua, son of Nun, did not leave the tent. Moses had such a relationship with God that God would come to Moses face to face in Moses' presence, and Moses had developed such a trust and bond with God that they were friends. Of course, God is always going to be God. He's going to be on top. But God trusted Moses. God had developed a friendship because he knew Moses was faithful. He knew that Moses had his back and God had Moses' back. He knew that Moses would never betray him. He had that relationship with Moses. And that is a relationship we as Christians should strive with Jesus. Now, I'll read that one more time. Exodus 33rd chapter, 11th verse. The Lord would speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. Then Moses returned to the camp, but his young aide Joshua, son of Nun, did not leave the tent. Now, having said all that, I pose this question to you. Are you a good friend? Because Moses saw God was about to do something out of anger. I don't know whether you can say frustrated. If God gets frustrated, I don't know. But based on just the wording that I'm reading, just from the basic eye test, God was disappointed, definitely. He was angered, definitely. Disappointment looks like it. Frustrated looks like another emotion that he was having. And Moses saw this. Moses, being a friend as well as a servant to God, but a friend, approached him and said, God, look, I know these people are angry and they're stiff. They're very stubborn people. But why go through all of what you did as far as sending me back to Egypt, performing the miracles, performing the plagues, performing the great miracle of splitting the Red Sea, doing all that stuff? Why do all that? Raining down manna, feeding your people. Why go through all that stuff just to kill them, because then it's going to look like the people that you were trying to get them from bondage are going to say, look, you know better than us. At least we only killed one or two when they angered us. But for the most part, we kept them alive. Yeah, they were slaves, but they were alive. What's better, being an alive slave, an alive slave, or a dead worshiper? Those were things that people are going to say about God. Now, God don't care. Let me get this straight. God don't care because He is omnipotent. He's all powerful. He's all knowing. He don't care. But Moses, as a friend, was appealing to God. Friendship. Moses had the right approach and tone. Now, the question I ask you: do you have this kind of relationship with God, with Jesus? Because this is the kind of relationship we all as Christians need to have with Jesus. Because if we develop this strong friendship and relationship with Jesus, then things are going to be so much better. Because right now, the world we're living in now, it is just totally crazy. The world that we are living in now is totally crazy. It looks like everybody has forgotten Jesus. It looks like everybody has forgotten the sacrifice that He made on the cross for us. And it's crazy. In your spiritual life, your friendship should be just as strong as we see Moses and God's. That's how our spiritual friendship should be with Jesus, just that strong that we can talk to Him and have a relationship with Him. In the physical world, you should have friendships with people like that. Your friends should be the people, or you should have people in your life that will say they're your friends. They're going to tell you when you're messing up, when you're doing right, when you need encouragement, when you need to check your ego at the door. You should have a friend that can tell you all that kind of stuff and still be your true blue friend. And you should have that same relationship with them. You should strive to have the relationship that God is as powerful as and omnipotent and all knowing. And with a snap of His finger, He could destroy Moses or anybody on this planet. Moses still was a friend to God. God still treasured. God still valued Moses' opinion, and Moses was able to sway God's wrath against His people. Let that sink in. That's very powerful. Moses was able to sway God's wrath against His people because of his friendship, because of his tone he had with God, because of how he revered God, his reverence he had with God, his relationship with God, how he serve and worship God, how he obeyed God. Now, Moses did disobey God in one thing, which caused him not to see the promised land, or not to actually go into the promised land. God let him see the promised land. But other than that one snafu, Moses was loyal to God, 1,000%. God considered him a friend, not his equal, but He considered him a friend. He valued his response. He valued his opinion, because had He not valued Moses' opinion, then He would not have turned him from what He's going to want to do with the Israelites, and that is to utterly destroy them. That says a lot. That's very strong. God values Moses' opinion. Jesus values your opinion, but you have to follow Jesus' rules. If you do what Jesus says, because He has a right to expect a certain thing from you, because He paid the ultimate price for you and me. He was nailed to that cross and whipped almost to death. Then, when God was going to destroy us, He said, God, forgive them because they know not what they do. They know not what they do. He still, going through all that pain and suffering, He still defended us. He still gave us a chance. Because He could have called God and said, look, I had enough. They don't know what they're doing, but I'm tired of this. He could have done that, but He didn't do that. And now some of the things that we do as so-called Christians and as people here in the world, we're spitting in His face. And the same way God was angry, who knows if Jesus is not getting angry? When if you make Jesus angry, then we are in trouble. Whoever angers Jesus is going to be a very sad person, whatever you want, spirit, whatever it is that angers Jesus is going to have a bad day. You don't want to be on the receiving end of Jesus' anger. So I keep asking this question: are you a good friend? If you aren't a good friend, you need to try to work on being a good friend, both spiritually with Jesus and both here on earth with your friends now. Someone that you feel and someone you know that has done you right, that has your back. You need to appreciate your family and your friends, but especially your friends. Because we see a lot of times that families, I've seen brothers, and myself, and even one of my brothers, we didn't talk for many, many years. Now we reconcile. But family sometimes can be very finicky, very finicky. Somebody dies and there's money involved, and then somebody felt they should have got this and they should have got that, or someone thinks that I listened to a pastor today and she was talking about how people thinks like she was talking about Joseph, how Joseph brothers were jealous of him. When jealousy creeps in, it can distort and mess up the whole family picture. There's another tool that the devil uses to break up friendships and families. Jealousy. You got to pray for discernment. You got to pray, Lord, take that out of my heart. Guide my words, my actions, and my thoughts. If it's confusion, if it's jealousy, if it's backbiting, if it's stiff neckness, like it said in the scripture, God ain't a part of that. He does not. He's not going to have his hand in that. So let's make sure that we pray and that we ask for forgiveness, that we ask for to keep our friends, our true blue friends, close to us, keep our true blue family close to us. And if there is some kind of a splinter with the family or the friendship, then you should pray for God to give you opportunity to fix that. If that person is truly your friend, that person a family member, and they're trying to reconcile, you should pray for God to give you the strength, to give you the insight, to give you whatever it needs to get over whatever happened in the past and fix it and go forward from today until your last days here on the planet. Are you a good friend? You ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror and ask, are you a good friend? Are you spiritually a good friend to Jesus? Are you spiritually a good friend, or are you spiritually a good friend to Jesus? And are you a good friend to people here on earth that you know are wanting to do right by you and have done right by you in the past? If your answer is no, then it's up to you to fix it. It's up to you to take that first step. Spiritually, like the song says, if you take one step, he'll take two. If you take the first step towards Jesus, Jesus will take two steps for you, towards you. There's no doubt in my mind. So that's my 2 cents. And the question of the day: are you a good friend? If you aren't, try to become one. If you are, keep up the good work. Now, in life, you're going to see as time goes by, people are going to come at you in a crazy way. They're going to say crazy things about religion, about Christianity, about the Bible, about God, about Jesus, whole heaven and hell. They're not going to believe it. And guess what? That is their right. That is their prerogative. I feel sorry for those individuals, but hey, everybody was not meant to go to heaven, but there are going to be a lot of people in hell. I don't plan on being one of them. I'm going to try to do everything in my power not to go to the hot place. But if someone comes in your space and they're talking all this kind of stuff, and you get in it and you have an opportunity to talk to that individual one on one or in a public setting or whatever the case may be, here is something that you might want to tell them. You say, hey, look, I personally choose to believe the Bible because it's a reliable collection of historical documents written down by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses. They report to us supernatural events that took place in fulfillment of specific prophecies and claim that their writings are divine rather than human in origin. And that comes from Pastor Vodi Bakum. Now, I need for you to do a few things if this is the first time you ever see me on this platform. One of the things I need you to do is subscribe. Definitely subscribe to the channel because I definitely would love to grow this channel, and I can only do that with your help. Second thing I need you to do is hit the notification bell because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload here in the future. Next thing is leave a comment. If you leave a comment, I will definitely read that comment and I'll get back to you. And I will definitely want to try to produce any kind of show that you leave in the comments, any topic that you leave in the comments. Reach out to me through the comments, and I will try to develop a show talking about whatever topic you want. Also, leave a like, thumbs up, hit that, click that like button. The more you click the like button, the more it helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, share this video with your friends, your family, coworkers, whoever. If someone you know wants to have a relationship with God, show them this video and hopefully that'll point them in the right direction. And also watch my videos all the way from the start to finish because that too helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Hope you have a fantastic day. I hope this message resonated with you, and I hope that you would definitely check me out on Wednesdays and Friday mornings, each and every morning, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. One last thing. If you haven't spoken to God in a while, make it your business to speak to Him today. Make it your business to open your mouth and start a conversation with God. Because I am positive, I am 1000% sure that He would love to hear from you. As always, y'all have a fantastic day. Stay safe, and God bless you. Until Wednesday morning, take it easy.